Hi, welcome to this series on using the Spectrum Protect Plus blueprints and sizing tool to correctly size, build, and place storage components for the Spectrum Protect Plus environment. This blueprints and sizing is going to be intended for technical sellers, business partners, and customers who will be installing and implementing Spectrum Protect Plus, either in a proof of concept or in an actual installation. The whole blueprint and sizing is based on architectural principles, and they also incorporate actual feedback and hands-on experience from customers using Spectrum Protect Plus in the field. Now, this is kind of a unique set of tools that Spectrum Protect Plus has. You need to be using these in order to have a positive outcome with the planning, installation, and usage of Spectrum Protect Plus, making it faster and more effective to implement and deploy, giving you sizings that's going to make your implementation successful, and giving you clear documentation about the different components and hardware that should be supporting those components. Depending upon what you're looking to do with Spectrum Protect Plus, we do have other tools out there. If all you want to do is quickly show Spectrum Protect Plus, we do have an interactive demo that's out there that you can simply run. If you want to demonstrate to a customer how quickly Spectrum Protect Plus can be deployed, you can download our trial version and install this all-in-one virtual appliance and rapidly get it up and running within an hour or so. If what you're looking to do is a proof of concept or an actual implementation, that's when the tools I'm going to be talking about need to be utilized. That's when you want to take the time to go through the blueprints and utilize the sizing tool to make sure you have correctly customized Spectrum Protect Plus. So if you go out to those websites, this website right here will take you to both the interactive demo as well as the free 30-day trial. If what you're looking for is the Spectrum Protect Plus blueprints and sizer, you'll want to go out to the support page, and from here you're going to download this zipped file for the blueprints. We actually update these every version, so make sure go out and get the most recent blueprints available. Once these blueprints are downloaded, they come as a zip file, and if you open up that zip file, you'll see inside of there a sizer, which is a Microsoft Excel binary worksheet because it does contain macros. You'll see the blueprint PDF as well. To start with, I'm going to walk you through quickly what's inside of the blueprint, and then the rest of the series of these videos is going to focus on the sizing tool. When you open up the Spectrum Protect Plus blueprint PDF, its chapters start off by an introduction, which will tell you what's new, what the component overview is. It'll give you some sample use cases that you can use to deploy your Spectrum Protect Plus environment. And it'll give you a task overview of the steps you need to go through in order to do the deployment successfully. Chapter 2 will talk about choosing the appropriate technologies. For instance, the different types of RAID, if you should use compression or deduplication, the memory and CPU. It'll talk about encryption and different disk technologies. This chapter 2 is going to become very important when we start looking at the options in the sizing tool. Chapter 3 is going to walk you through how to use the sizing tool, and this will actually be the focus of the rest of the videos in our series. Chapter 4 talks about server and storage for the configuration of these blueprints. It'll walk through 2 different blueprints, and it'll talk about the resources that are required, like CPU and memory. Chapter 5 will walk you through the vSnap server installation and setup. And this is basically going to be building the system based upon the outputs from the sizing spreadsheet. Chapter 6 is going to be configuring the VADP proxies. Chapter 7 is going to be configuring the Cloud Object Storage if you are using Cloud Object Storage to offload for long-term retention. And then Chapter 8 will summarize what we've talked about. There are some appendixes, and some that might be of special interest to you are the performance information as well as the appendix, which covers protecting the vSnap server system configuration. This PDF has a lot of excellent information, so you need to take the time to read through it and use it as a reference guide as you go through your implementation. So with that, I'm going to show you the scenario that we're going to be utilizing in the rest of the videos when we look at the sizing. And this is one of the scenarios covered in the blueprints as well. The information in red, as well as the database and vCenter sizes, is the business requirements you will have gathered and that will be entered into the spreadsheet. So in this example, at the primary location, you will have a vCenter which has about 100 terabytes of data, and a Microsoft SQL environment which has about 50 terabytes of data. You'll be doing daily backups and keeping these backups for 30 days. At the second location, you will have an Oracle, which is 200 terabytes, and you'll be replicating the primary site across to this secondary location, and we will replicate all that data daily, and we're going to be keeping it at the secondary location for 30 days. We'll be deduplicating all the data, and we'll be sizing this for 3 years. And then in some of our follow-on topics, we'll talk about how you can then take this vSnap server, and we are going to send some of the copies out to Cloud Object Storage for longer-term retention. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and get started with using the Spectrum Protect Plus Sizer.